Alright my fellow agents, welcome back to the Gaming Brigade, and one thing I like to do anytime a new season begins is go over a few builds that I could use pretty much with any content in the game. Doesn't matter if I'm playing solo or in a group, if I'm doing retaliation, escalation, let's say I'm trying out the new classified mission. One thing I try to do is have certain builds in my loadout, that way I'm ready to go whenever I feel like jumping into the game, and one of them is always an ongoing directive build, so as we start off the season, I want to highlight a build that in my opinion you definitely want to have at the ready. Now as always, we're going to jump right into the details, and if you happen to enjoy this, do me a favor and hit that like button, it truly helps the channel out. If you want to stay up to speed on all things Division, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button as well. Alright, so starting with the specialization, we're using Gunner, doing that for a few main reasons. You get that armor on kill, reload speed increase, but the two primary reasons are that it gives me access to the Banshee Pulse. I'm going to use that the moment I roll up an NPC to put them under a status effect. You also have access to the large pouch, that's going to give you an extra 50 rounds in the magazine, and always remember, you always need to make sure you have the proper weapons activated in your weapon skill tree. That way you're getting a 15% weapon damage bonus regardless of which one you're using. Now when it comes to your primary weapon, you have a ton of options, alright? For me, I'm going to use a GR9 with the talent Sadist. And you can see that talent is going to amplify weapon damage by 30% to bleeding enemies. We'll talk about how that is going to take place in a moment. Another option is the Bullet King. You never have to take your foot off the gas. You can just mow through enemies non-stop. And another great option is the Carnage, but for me, I'm not really a fan of how that weapon handles, and of course I could lean into weapon handling more as far as my attributes are concerned, but anyway. Always remember, this is just a template. You want to take your time, make a build your own, try out different variations, and roll with the one you enjoy using the most. Now my secondary for this build is the Lexington with the talent Sadist on it. And for the sidearm, I recommend using the Quick Step because when you have that weapon in your hand, you're going to get an extra 20% movement speed bonus. Now moving on to the gear itself, we're running 4 ongoing directive, 1 Petrov, and the Overdog's gloves. Starting with the mask, it's the first of 4 pieces of ongoing directive. We're running 4 to get all of the gear set bonuses. 2 pieces 15% status effect, 3 pieces 30% reload speed, and 4 piece is rules of engagement, where shooting a status affected enemy will apply a mark, and killing a marked enemy grants a full clip of hollow point ammo for your active weapon and half a clip of the agent's active weapon to the rest of the party. Now you can also see the hollow point ammo is going to amplify weapon damage by 20% and applies bleed on hit. However, because we are wearing the ongoing directive body armor, we have access to the Talon Parabellum rounds, and that is going to increase the hollow point ammo weapon damage amplification to 50%, so you definitely want to use this. Continuing on to the holster and the knee pads, we have 2 more pieces of ongoing directive. I'm doing my best to stack crit hit chance and crit hit damage everywhere I can. Which now, my friends, takes us to the gloves, and you do have a few options. First of all, for me, I love using the Overdogs. These are just kind of one of my go-to exotics that I use on a lot of different builds out there. These have the talent weakest link, and that is going to amplify weapon damage by 30% to the lowest ranking enemy currently in combat as per the tier hierarchy. Now, if you don't have these, or let's say you just don't like them, use the Contractor's Gloves. That's going to give you that second brand set bonus from Petrov. And these also have that middle attribute, 8% damage to armor, which is one of the best attributes in the game. Now, in the gameplay footage you're about to see, I am using the Overdogs. Just want to make sure I mention that. Finally, my friends, we have the backpack. It's the 1 piece of Petrov, unless we're using Contractor's Gloves. But again, this is the version you're going to see in the footage. And these have the talent Wicked. And as you can see with that talent, applying a status effect increases total weapon damage by 18% for 20 seconds. That is an absolute lifetime in this game. Another great option if you want more survivability is you could use another piece of Petrov, and you can use the talent Bloodsucker, because that's going to give you bonus armor every single time you take out an NPC. And as I mentioned previously, try out different variations, see which one you enjoy using more. For me, I just like using the talent Wicked on the backpack. As far as my skills are concerned, I'm using the Banshee Pulse and the Reviver Hive just in case things get sideways. I also want to mention, in the gameplay footage you're about to see, I do not have any global modifiers active whatsoever, and the main reason for that is I want to ensure that whenever you see this video, you know exactly what this build can do without any special events going on. Hope this helped you out, my friends, and as always, questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know, and I'll do my best to get back to you as quick as I can. On that note, I'm going to leave you with some gameplay footage and a few final thoughts. As always, I want to take a moment and thank you all for your incredible continued support. Please let me know of any other questions you have I did not address. Thank you once again for the privilege of your time, and as I mention at the end of every one of these, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone. Hello once again, my fellow agents. I hope you're doing well on this fine day. All right, so hopefully, as of my posting this video, the emergency maintenance is now over with the Division 2. As most of you know, there's been some insane Delta issues going on across all platforms. For me on Xbox, the game's been pretty much unplayable. So it is my sincere hope that as of right now, everything is, better, because it's really been a shit show, and it's unfortunate because I know a lot of players out there, you're not really thrilled about the whole season in its entirety. You don't really like the PVE Dark Zone, at least the iteration that we were given. And when you combine that with the Delta issues that we've had since the season began, it's really not that great for the game right now. So hopefully things will turn around pretty damn soon. I know a lot of you out there, including myself, we are looking forward to the new incursion, which will be this season. Once I have that information, I will bring it to you right away. And once there's more server stability, that is when I'll start to highlight different builds you can use in retaliation, escalation. We'll do builds around the Caduceus. A lot of players out there have asked me to put those together, so you will get those very soon. And look, here's the thing. Unfortunately, I've been hearing from a lot of you out there, and you're simply saying that you just have no desire to play the season. And, you're not thrilled with the new brand set. You're not thrilled with the new gear set. You really have no desire to try out different things that are attached to the season. And you're waiting, like I said a moment ago, for that new incursion to drop, which hopefully will be really damn soon. Now keep in mind as I say all of this, look, I will always continue to cover this game. If I'm enjoying something and I'm playing it, I will cover it. I'm never going to bullshit you here. I'm always going to let you know my thoughts, and my thoughts are that it seems to me that the game is getting more attention than it's ever gotten before, but for a lot of players, like I've been saying, you're not really thrilled with what we've been getting, so hopefully we'll be getting some good stuff soon. And I also want to mention, as I leave you with the rest of the gameplay footage, this is just my opinion. I'm not just totally boo-booing on the game. It's not about that. I know certain players are enjoying it, and that's great, and that's wonderful. We want to have discussions here, but let me know in the comment section. Is that my dog sneezing? Did you hear that? Yeah, girl? All right. Anyway, where was I? Let me know your thoughts, my friends. Look, we do not need to agree on everything. That is not the point here. We have a community. We're always going to have these discussions. I'm letting you know my thoughts. Let me know yours as well. That's all I got for the video. Thank you once again for everything. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to each other, and I will see you in the next one.
Supply room access unlocked. Hostile control point detected. Incoming hostiles detected. Hostile